welcome you all to the Sunday Bhagavad Gita classes. So we are in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, and chapter 2 is also called the summary of Bhagavad Gita. It is one of the most important chapter in the Bhagavad Gita. So it is giving the overall picture of the Bhagavad Gita. So those who understand chapter 2, so very likely that you will be understanding the entire Bhagavad Gita. So we saw in the beginning of the chapter 1 that Arjuna was very reluctant to fight. Why was he reluctant? He put forward 4 arguments. What are the 4 arguments which Arjuna put forward for not fighting?
One is compassion.
First one is compassion. Second one is
Loss
loss
of
of enjoyment. And third one is fear of sinful activities.
action.
And the fourth one is destruction of family tradition.
family traditions. Yeah.
And then the fifth one, which is in the chapter 2 itself, is indecisiveness. Arjuna was not able to decide what is
Decide.
right to him or what is not right to him. So here we can see that Arjuna was trying to follow dharma. However, he was not knowing exactly what the dharma is. So he thought that the actual dharma is by not fighting. Whereas Krishna defied his argument, saying that Arjuna actually has to fight. And to refute his first argument on compassion, what did Krishna said first? From sloka number 11 to 30th, Krishna said that we are the body, we are not the body, we are the soul. So our actual identity is the soul. So even if his grandfather dies or if his teacher dies, if his relatives dies, so it's only the change of the body, whereas the soul is eternal. And he also said that like how the old garments are being thrown and a new garment is bought, so similarly the soul leaves the old body, the body becomes weak as we grow up. And here Bhishma Pita and Dronacharya, were they very young or they were quite old?
They were old.
They were quite old. So they will give up their old bodies and then they will get a new body. And because they are warriors, either they will get a heavenly planet or they will go to spiritual kingdom being a devotee. Therefore, Arjuna should not be reluctant to fight. And Krishna also gave various characteristics of the soul. He is trying to explain Arjuna from different angles. So what are some of the characteristics of the soul that we could remember?
Soul is immovable.
Immovable, yes.
It cannot be destroyed.
Indestructible.
Indestructible.
Cannot be measured.
Okay. Yeah. And soul is also inconceivable. And none of the weapons can actually destroy the soul.
Soul.
And likewise, Krishna was putting across various arguments. And at even one point of time, Krishna was saying, even if you do not believe in soul, it is just a change of chemicals, right? So something is in an unmanifested state. Later on, it comes into the manifested state. And again, it goes to unmanifested state. Like the law of conservation of energy, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's only transformed from one form to another. So why he has to be reluctant? And towards the end of the division, Krishna is also talking about the soul. Some of them, when they hear about the soul, they feel amazing. When they are talking about the soul, they feel amazing. When they are describing the soul, they feel it amazing. But there are few people, no matter how many times they have heard, they have talked, but they can never accept the soul. Why they are not able to accept this concept of soul? What is the problem for them to accept? What kind of people cannot understand the soul?
Atheists.
Atheists.
Atheist people cannot understand, and also there are some people who are materially engrossed, who are too much materialistic. For them also, it is very difficult to think on the platform of the soul. Like even if you see those people who are like working and who are, whatever you talk about Gita or anything, they hardly pay any attention towards it. Even you say that, you're becoming old. Yeah, this is all natural. What is there to worry about it, right? Because they are grossly materialistic people. So even those kind of people find very difficult to understand the soul. And then in the third division of the second chapter, where Krishna is talking about two dharmas, Swadharma and Parodharma.
Parodharma.
So Swadharmamapi Chaveksha. So what is he saying to Arjuna? Arjuna, being a Kshatriya, what is his duty? The
Fight.
engagement of Kshatriya is to fight.
To-
So, in the Varnashrama society, each and every Varnas are engaged in different activities according to
Activities.
their guna and karma, according to their
Yep.
nature and activities. So, we have four classes of Varnas or the social order. The first order is Brahmana. They do patan and they enlighten the society with the knowledge of the Vedic knowledge. And the Kshatriyas, Kshatriya means the one who gives protection from hurt. So they have to protect the dharma. So to protect dharma, sometimes violence is needed. So therefore, Arjuna should fight. Even a
Fight.
Kshatriya, while he is so young, he is trained to go to the forest and fight and kill the tiger. So this particular training is given by Kshatriya right from the childhood. And then the Vaishyas, what is their duty is to protect cows and to do trading. And then Shudras, they are serving the other three classes of the society. So here Arjuna being a Kshatriya, it is his duty to do the fighting. By doing so, he will be following the religious principle, the dharma. So Arjuna will be actually following his dharma. When you see the word dharma is repeated several times in Bhagavad Gita. So being a follower of dharma, what should Arjuna do? He has to fight.
Fight.
Because the
Fight.
duty of a Kshatriya is to fight. And in the next sloka, he is saying that for a Kshatriya, if at all he gets an opportunity to fight, he has to consider it to be an opportunity because it is always a win win situation in the war. Even if he dies in the battle, he will be going to heavenly planet. Even going to heavenly planet is not going to be very easy. One has to do so many pious activity and should have never lied for 100 lifetimes. And then
Lifetimes.
even if he is ruling the earthly kingdom, that is also good because he will be enjoying the sovereignty of the kingdom. So, therefore, Arjuna should consider this particular fighting to be an opportunity. Mainly, it is a Dharma Yuddha. It is not any political reason. It's not that Arjuna thinks that, I need to expand my kingdom. I have a very, very small kingdom, but I am very capable. I need to usurp others' kingdom. No. He was a rightful heir, and even though they requested at least 5 villages, one village for each Pandavas, they refused. Therefore, this war became inevitable. And then, so Arjuna is thinking that by fighting he will commit the sin. Whereas, what did Krishna say? Krishna said that by not fighting you will commit the sin. Why?
With the sun.
Because being a Kshatriya, if you're not doing your duty, that means you're doing sinful activity. So
yeah.
it is the other way around. And then he's talking about what will happen to you. You will become very infamous. You're already in the war field. People come in the war field to fight. And after coming here, if you're fleeing the battlefield, what will they think? They think that you're a coward and you will remain infamous. People will defame your name. You will not be famous. People will not think that out of compassion Arjuna left the field. Even those great generals to whom you're compassionate about, those Maharathas, they will also not think that you left the battlefield because of compassion. They will think that you are a coward. You thought that the opponent is too strong, so you're scared of your life. You think that you may die. Therefore, you are left the battlefield so you can protect yourself. For that, what did Krishna say, Arjuna? Better you die. If you feel that you cannot kill your opponents, okay, you don't kill or you don't flee the battlefield because you're also my friend. So, if you're becoming infamous, I being your friend, I will also be spoken. And if your friend is defamed, will you feel good about it?
No.
We won't feel
No.
good if any of our close friend is being defamed. So here, Arjuna being a very close friend of Krishna, and will Krishna feel good about Arjuna being defamed?
No, he will not like.
Not feel
Yeah.
good. Therefore, he says, Arjuna, you better die. Dying is better for you because you will go to heavenly planets and you will be remembered. Okay, you were fighting and you are a great warrior. In the war, you lost. It's okay, right? Even today, we are remembering great warriors like Chhatrapati Shivaji, right? Because he was very great. If he was been a darpok, will we be remembering him?
Hmm.
So
No.
he's asking, do you know, please tell me one Kshatriya who left the battlefield out of compassion. Is there even one Kshatriya who left? No. Have you ever heard in the history any Kshatriya who left the battlefield out of compassion? No. You will be either called a coward. And even we saw in the regime of Aurangzeb, the one of the army general, when he was going to fight in the battlefield, he lost the fight and he came back. And the wife did not even open the door. She said that, what kind of Kshatriya you are? Either you should win or you should
Die.
fight till the death.
Fight and die.
So you are such a coward. How will I receive you? Right? So that was the mood of the Kshatriya now. They fight till their death. Either you win or you lose. There was nothing in between. So this is what Arjuna is saying. Krishna is saying to Arjuna. So we have following
Krishna,
two verses.
Krishna is saying Arjuna.
Yeah, Krishna is saying to Arjuna. So we are following two verses, which we will see today. Please repeat after me. Avacha vadamsha bahun
Avachya vadam cha bahum
vadishyanti tavahita
vadishyanti tavahita
nindantastava samartyam
nindastantavat samartyam
tato dukkataram nukim.
tato dukkharam taram nukim.
Avacha vadamsha sabahun
Avachya vadam cha bahum
vindantyanti tavahita
Santitavahita.
vadishyanti tavahita
Nindantastava samartyam
nindastantava samartyam
tato dukkataram nukim.
tato dukkhatam dukkam
Avacha vadam cha bahun
avachya vadam cha bahum
vadishyanti tavahita
vadishyanti tavita
nindantastava samartyam
nindastantava samartyam
tato dukkataram nukim.
tato dukkataram nukkam.
Who wants to do this, Loka?
Mataji, I can do Mataji.
Please, please.
Chapter 2, text 36. Avachya vadam cha bahun
Avacha vadam cha bahun
vadishyanti tavahita
vadishyanti tavahita
nindantastava samartyam
nindantastava samartyam
tato dukkataram nukim.
tato dukkataram nukim.
Avachya, unkind, vadan, fabricated words, cha, also, bahun, many, vishyanti, will say, tava, your, ahita, enemies, nindhanta, while vilifying, tava, your, samarthyam, ability, tatha, than that, dukkataram, more painful, no, of course, kim, what is there? Translation. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you?
Thank you, Mataji. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकास स्वामिति नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So that is what Krishna is saying, that, by Arjuna fleeing the battlefield, what will the enemies will do? They will use avachya vadamsha sabahun. They will use such an unkind and fabricated words. They will say that, Arjuna, he was just pretending to be a great warrior. But actually speaking, he is not. He is so much dear to his life that he wanted to protect his life, and he is so much afraid of his grandfather and great generals, and there are so many maharathas in our side, so he will be very much afraid of us. So because of that, he left the battlefield. Scorn your ability. They will not think that Arjuna left the battlefield out of compassion. They will think that Arjuna left the battlefield because he thinks himself to be incapable. He is fearful of his life, and they will leave. And what could be more painful for you? Will it be nice for Arjuna being a Kshatriya?
No.
No.
A Kshatriya is, he's a king, he's a very respectable person. And such a person in such a respectable position is being spoken with so many such words. How painful it would be for Arjuna. It will be painful for Arjuna, not only for Arjuna, it will be also painful for
Krishna.
Krishna also,
Because he's a
because
friend. Yeah.
he's a friend. What kind of, person you are. Mataji, please read the purport.
Lord Krishna was astonishing in the beginning at
The
Arjuna's.
title also, Lord defeating
Oh,
Arjuna's
sorry.
argument of
Lord,
compassion.
Lord defeating Arjuna's argument of compassion. Lord Krishna was astonished in the beginning at Arjuna's uncalled for plea for compassion, and he described his compassion as befitting the non-Aryas. Now, in so many words, he has proved his stated statement against Arjuna's so-called compassion. So
We saw
compassion
that in
reason.
the beginning of the second chapter, Anarya Ajushtam. He is saying that you will not be called as Aryan. Aryan means what? Aryan means a civilized person. What is the actual civilized person? A civilized person knows what is the real purpose of the life. So here, a Kshatriya is called as an Aryan because he knows the goal of the life. But here, Arjuna will not be called as Aryan. So the same thing Krishna told in the beginning of the second chapter also. Kutasva kashmalamidam. Vishame samupasitam anarya jushtam asvargyam akirtim karam Arjuna. He already said the same word. You will be becoming infamous. You will be called anarya. And how this kind of impurity has come. Then later on, Krishna is giving him on the subject matter of the soul. He is trying to give him more kind of reasons why Arjuna should not be worried about the body, whereas we are the soul. Now, after giving the knowledge about our real position that we are the soul, again Krishna is coming back to the topic that because we are the soul, but we are also in the body. So, therefore, we have two dharmas. One is Swadharma, a dharma because of our prescribed duties. Another is Parodharma, the dharma towards the Supreme Lord. We have to do both, right? We just cannot say, I am the soul, I have nothing to do. We have to do our own prescribed duties to keep our
Duties.
body and soul together. So, this is what generally people do. So, the very first thing what people do is they do the karma kanda sacrifices. They want to enjoy, but they do it in a very religious way. Even to enjoy, we cannot just enjoy, we have to do it in a dharmic way. So, in that particular way, also, Arjuna should know that this particular activity will not lead him anywhere. Neither he will go to heavenly planets, nor he will be having great name or fame here. Forget about having name or fame, rather, he will be defamed, and people will call him with very bad words, and they will
Words.
be known for very, very, infamous act. So, in so many ways, so this so called compassion of Arjuna. So, that doesn't mean that one can just think that, we are not the body, we are the soul, and violence cannot be done against anyone indiscriminately. Here, Arjuna being a Kshatriya, he can use violence. Violence can be an utility only for a Kshatriya, like the army people. They can be violent to kill the enemies in the battlefield. The same military person, he cannot kill his neighbor because he has a misunderstanding. Because over there, he is not authorized. One can only do the authorized killing, not an unauthorized killing. Some people say that, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is, you know, encouraging violence. Did Krishna encourage violence? No.
No.
Here he is saying only to Arjuna, being a Kshatriya, to establish the Dharma.
Dharma.
Sometimes violence is also an utility, like a surgeon. He sometimes have to cut the stomach, cut different parts of body. If you just see that particular act, it look very violent. But why is he doing that activity? To save the person. So only such authorized violence is allowed. So today we see that people are doing animal slaughtering and everything. So is that authorized?
No.
That is not
No.
authorized because they are also a living entity. They also have the soul in them. Only thing is they have a different dress because of every living entity takes the body according to their own karma. But as a spirit soul, we are all the same. Pandita Samadarshina, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini. Whether a learned person sees everybody in the same way, whether he is a Brahmana or whether it is an elephant or whether he is a dog eater, he sees everybody in the same way because what is he actually seeing in them? He's seeing the spirit soul in them. So, as a spirit soul, everything is the same. Even an ant has a soul in it. Even an elephant has a soul in it. Even we have the soul in it. So, according to their karma, they have got that particular body. So, that doesn't mean that we can just kill them indiscriminately for our own selfish purpose, to satisfy our own tongue. So, that is not allowed. So, one should know that violence is also utilized only in case of the needs, especially for a Kshatriya to establish the Dharma. Otherwise, we cannot say that Krishna is encouraging violence in
Violence.
Bhagavad Gita. Because ahimsa, one of the out of 20 objects of knowledge, which Krishna will be talking in chapter 13, one of the object of knowledge Krishna says is ahimsa. So if Krishna is encouraging violence, himsa, why does he say ahimsa as one of the knowledge? Right? So actually, Krishna is only talking about non-violence because every living entity is very dear to him. But in this particular case, to establish Dharma, Arjuna has to fight.
Right.
Therefore, he has defied his so-called compassion. That's not a real compassion. Whatever he is trying to do is only a so-called compassion.
Compassion.
Okay. Let's do the sloka number 37. हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गम्
हतो वा प्राप्यस्य स्वर्गम्
वा भोक्ष्यते महीम्
जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे माम्
तस्मात् उद्दिष्ट कौन्तेय
तस्मात् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय
युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय
युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय
हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गम्
हतो वा प्राप्यसे स्वर्गम्
जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम्
जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे माम्
तस्मात् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय
तस्मात् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय
युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय
युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय
हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गम्
हतो वा प्राप्यसे स्वर्गम्
जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे महीम्
जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसे
तस्मात् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय
तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय
युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय.
युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय.
Would like to do this, Loka?
Mataji, I'll try.
Please.
हतो
Go ahead.
वा हतो वा प्राप्स्यसि स्वर्गम्
Ato va
हतो
prapsyasi
प्राप्स्यसि
swargam.
स्वर्गम्
जित्वा वा भोक्ष्यसि महीम्
Jitva
जित्वा
va
वा
bhoksyase
भोक्ष्यसि
mahim.
महीम्
तस्मात् उत्तिष्ठ कौन्तेय
Tasmadutsikta
तस्मादुत्तिष्ठ
kaunteya.
कौन्तेय
युद्ध युद्धाय कृतनिश्चय
Yuddhaya
युद्धाय
kritanishchaya.
कृतनिश्चयम्.
I'll read Mataji word
Yes,
to word.
Mataji, please.
Ata, being killed, va, either, prapyasi, you gain, swargam, the heavenly kingdom, jitva, by conquering, va, or, bhoksyate, to enjoy, mahim, the world, tasmat, therefore, utushta, get up, kaunteya, O son of Kunti, yudhaya, to fight, krita, determine, nischaya, in certainty. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight.
So we see that Krishna
Yeah,
here is repeating the same things. He has
yeah.
already said the same thing. He is kind of concluding this particular topic with Arjuna, having spoken about soul and having spoken about Swadharma, what is the prescribed duty of Arjuna, and what will happen to Arjuna if he leaves the battlefield. So Krishna is again concluding the final verdict. Krishna's final verdict is what? Mataji, please go ahead.
Lord Krishna's final verdict. Even though there was no certainty of victory for Arjuna's side, he still had to fight. For even being killed there, he could be elevated into the heavenly planets.
So here Krishna is telling to Arjuna, you don't have to worry about the result. It's not that Krishna is saying that Arjuna may win or may not win, because there are great generals also in the opposite
Battle.
side. So it's not that Arjuna has to fight in the battlefield for winning or losing. It can be either side. It is his duty as a Kshatriya to fight. So to do his prescribed duty, it is important for Arjuna to fight, but no need to worry about the consequence. Why? Because either way it is going to be a win-win situation. If he loses, he will go to heavenly planet, and if he wins, he will be ruling the earthly kingdom. He will be enjoying the earthly kingdom. So what is there for Arjuna to actually worry, right?
Correct.
So imagine, but if a student is writing an exam, if a student is said either you pass or you fail, both are the same, how nice the student will feel.
Yeah,
But it doesn't happen that way, right? Here,
Hmm.
if you pass, you will have a different consequence. If you fail, you have a different
Different
consequence.
consequence.
But here, for Arjuna, both are a win-win situation, right? So similarly, when we are in the process of bhakti, whether it is a success or failure, both are a success. Even if we have not attained perfection in bhakti, if we have done bhakti to certain extent, but we have not perfected, but there is no loss in bhakti. Because if we are taking the next life, it will start from wherever we have left. You will not be totally, that's what in the sixth chapter, Arjuna is asking Krishna. So, what will happen to those kind of transcendentalists if they are not attaining perfection and they have also left all the material enjoyments? So they did not either enjoy the material world, nor they attain the spiritual world, nor they attain perfection. Like a clouds, no, sometimes we see the clouds and it looks like those clouds are going to pour the rains, but in some time we see that the cloud just get dispersed, right, without
Yeah.
performing any particular function. Sometimes we see, a very
Yeah.
cloudy day, but no rain will form. So the
Yeah.
cloud, without pouring the rain, it will just get
Dispersed.
dispersed. So similarly, won't that be the position of those transcendentalists? They are nowhere. Neither they enjoyed this material world, nor they attain perfection. For that, Krishna is saying that no. For a transcendentalist, there is never a loss. For whatever good thing they have done, what will happen to them is they will enjoy the heavenly kingdom for a long time. And then they will be born in the family of a Brahmana, an aristocratic family, where they will be given further opportunity to advance in Krishna consciousness. So once you have taken the path of bhakti, like if you're putting your luggage in a conveyor belt, some luggage can be in the beginning, some will be in the middle, and some will be towards the end. But once the luggage is put in the conveyor belt, so in some time, we are sure that it is going to reach the destination.
Correct.
Some might be in the beginning, some might be in the middle stage, or some might be in the towards the end, but we are
Later.
all in that particular path.
Yeah.
The baggage that is put in a conveyor belt will
Yes.
surely reach the destination, right? So similarly, when we start this process of bhakti, doesn't matter whether we are a beginner or whether we are already in some stage or whether we are in a bhava stage or whatever stage, but once we are there, we will surely reach our destination. That is what Krishna is assuring us in the Bhagavad Gita when we go further. So, all of us who are here, we should be very grateful and thankful that we are in this path of Krishna consciousness where we are trying to please the Lord and come out of the sufferings of the material world of repeated birth,
Birth
death,
and
old
death,
age,
old
and
Old
age,
age.
disease.
disease.
These four problems are common for all, but nobody worries about it. In the material world, do you think people are worried about it? No. Even if somebody dies, they only feel bad for that particular time until they see the body. Once they go to the graveyard, and they burn the body and come, or they bury, and then they are into their own world. They take coffee, tea, and then they read the newspaper, they watch the TV, and then everything is gone. That vairagya, that samshana vairagya comes only for some time, and they see a person who passed away. Oh, he was such a great person. What happened to him? Now he just left everything, nothing is there. So at that particular time, a person feels, what is the use of this world, life? But it goes away in very small time.
Sure.
It doesn't stay with us, right? So, but
Mm.
as a devotees, we can understand that that's what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshana. The birth, death, old age, and disease are the giving us pains in the life. Therefore, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityacha mamekam charanam
Amekam
vraja
charan.
aham tvam sarva
Sarva
papebhyo
papebhyo
mokshayashyami
moksha
masucha.
shishami masucha.
Abandon all varieties of dharma. So anything that we are doing where we cannot remember Krishna, where we cannot bring in Krishna, that particular kind of activity one should abandon. And what did Krishna say? Just surrender only to me alone. By doing that, what is Krishna giving us? Sarva papebhyo. I will get rid of all your
All
sinful
the pap.
activities. Moksha ishyami, and give you moksha.
Moksha.
Masucha. Masucha means do not fear. So he is giving an assurance to Arjuna towards the end that to come out of this material pangs, the only thing is one should learn to surrender to Krishna.
Surrender.
Krishna.
Surrendering to Krishna means doing the activities that are favorable to Krishna consciousness and abandoning all kinds of activities that are not favorable to Krishna consciousness. Anukulyasya Krishnanu pratikulasya varjanam. Whatever favorable we should do, whatever not favorable we should reject. And Rakshaishashi Vishwasho, we should have a firm faith that Krishna is our only protector. He is our only maintainer. In material world, what do we think? We think that somebody is
What
protecting
I do.
us or we
Yeah.
are protecting somebody. Correct?
Correct.
We
Correct.
think we are under somebody's protection or we think we are giving protection to somebody. But that
Yeah.
is our false ego. So Krishna is the only protector and only
Yes.
maintainer. Rake Krishna Mare He. If Krishna wants to protect someone, nobody can kill him. If Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can protect him. So he is our only protector and only maintainer. Only in that mood one can surrender to Krishna. And by reading about Krishna's greatness, by reading about Krishna's pastime, how Krishna has lifted that Govardhan hill, how Krishna subdued Kaliya, how Krishna expanded himself into so many forms to satisfy the gopis in the Rasa Leela. When we read all the pastimes, what do we understand? We understand the greatness of Krishna. So when we know the greatness of Krishna and when we know our own insignificant position, then we can surrender to Krishna. If we do not know how great is our Lord, then also we cannot surrender. That is why we read Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is giving instruction. And to know the sweetness of Krishna, we read Srimad Bhagavatam. To know who is Krishna. When we read both the scriptures, then our this thing with Krishna enhances. Okay, Mataji. So this is the two slokas we did so far where Krishna is talking in terms of Swadharma. And in the next sloka, we will see that Krishna will be talking in terms of Parodharma as a
Parodharma.
soul, whatever thing. So because we have a this thing to do Dhamodara Ashtakam also. So we will stop here